Drugs are a huge part of our society, you know, and they ain't going to go away. And I think television could be more responsible in helping to break down that stigma of dirty, filthy junkies, because that gets magnified, because the drug addicts themselves think that already. They think they're useless, worthless individuals, you know. The society is telling them they're worthless, useless individuals, you know what I mean? And then until you break that train of thought, that's how it's going to be, and they're going to carry on using it.
It should be more recognised what drugs actually do to people. It should be taught more at schools and things like that about how even the littlest of drugs or the minutest what you do, what effects it has on you mentally, physically. Because when I was 13, I wasn't educated and I didn't have a clue. And I know for a fact that these kids are still not getting this information sent to them at schools, and yet it's on the streets. We're living around drugs.
If it's right for you and you can be responsible about it and it gives you a certain amount of pleasure, I don't see any problem with it. And I may just be lucky that it's never affected me in an adverse way. But I also quite aware of the fact that there are some people who can't handle the results of drug taking, and it does ruin their lives. It's a personal choice, really.
Through my experiences, I'd say that soft drugs have made me more open to the world. But as long as you know the line between a soft drug and a hard drug, if you walk down certain paths of the hard drugs, you know, you're in dangerous territory, because nobody really knows how you're going to react to each drug you take. So every drug you do take for the first time is a risk, and you know, usually it's not worth the risk.
I remember someone saying it's like Dr Pepper, you've got to try it to love it, and that's stuck in my mind a lot. And Dancing with the Devil, you know, the excitement of that.
Socially, I have enjoyed drugs, and if everything is done in moderation and people are doing it around the right environment and doing it for the right reasons, and drugs in their right mind could be good and could be nice.
I believe that I had a problem. I had addiction. You know that it was in my psychological makeup. Yes, you can be addicted physically to certain substances like heroin, but there's also a psychological side to it. Didn't matter what drug it was, really. I just had to have something. I had to have something to change the way I felt. I had to have something before I went out the door. Before I went to talk to anybody, you know, I had to use something, morning, noon and night.
I have taken pills, ecstasy, speed, coke, weed. Coke I'm still using. So my job is very much within that culture of being more approachable and happy-go-lucky. You know, when you're tired, just go out the back and have a quick line, sort you out. And although it's expensive and I'm not a great promoter of it, I'll probably still be using it for a few years.
We all loved the rave music, and going to raves, we was able to get speed in the trips, and then we started taking ecstasy, like just for the to party on. Like after that, I was still taking these, but I was up all the time, so I needed something to come down, and smoking cannabis wasn't enough, so I was introduced to heroin, and then that's when I started heroin. Well, I smoked it for about 6 years, and I've now been injecting for about 7 years now.
The positive effects at the time was getting high. It was good. You'd feel good, you'd feel great, your sex was great. That was one of the main reasons I used to do drugs, I think.
I just remember feeling an amazing, overwhelming sense of love.
It's this whole thing of trying to change your feelings, you know, or not liking the way that you feel and being unable to deal with your feelings and to express them to another person, so you just medicate.
then the negatives, you would have the worst come down going. And it's horrible, like for days after. I think the older you get as well, the come downs get worse. You did get depressed, and I did. I felt like I got to one point where I used to do a lot of cocaine, and I got into really bad depression. I had insomnia for about 2-3 years.
I started getting really paranoid, and I was on a train coming back from London with methadone. I hid in the toilet and I thought there was someone trying to get in to get me, someone from London that knew I had the drugs with me. So I pulled the communication cord and got nicked for that. And at that time I was 19 years old and I had a really bad psychosis. And then I found the methadone and the heroin, like, got rid of that.
Yeah, the next day on like an hour's sleep, just being like, oh, I hate everything, I'm really cold, you know, I can't eat, I can't go out, I have to stay here until it's all gone. And it is horrible, but then your lows come with your highs.
There is a case for responsible drug taking. It's up to the individual to be responsible about what they do.
I don't regret taking them, but I also do. Because I think to myself, what would my life be like if I didn't take them? You know, where would I be now? Because they're a good way of dealing with stress, but they also cause stress.